He's back. But is he better than ever? Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside. Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because...
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tilley and today's guest is none other than Jimmy the Brute Crute. Yep, the old Bendigo Lama. Jimmy Crute has been around for a very long time after securing his UFC contract via Dana White Contender Series. The man out of Victoria. He has gone on to have a mixed bag in the UFC. I think it's about 10 fights, about 4-4 and a draw or something like that. I think that's 9. And look, Jimmy's had a situation where basically he nearly walked away from the sport. He basically tried to retire, and he's done some soul searching. And in this interview, you see a completely different Jimmy Crute. He's got more. He's just let everything go a little bit more. You know, there's more personality there. He's happier. He looks lighter. I really do think he's going to surprise a lot of people come February 9th in Sydney. Now, he's taking on Renato Bellato. He was originally scheduled to take on Marcin Prachnio, but he pulled out due to injury. Now, Bellato's on like a 4-fight win streak. He's a pretty good guy. And Jimmy, I think, is coming off, it's like 3 losses and a draw. So, look, he's back. He's definitely against the wall. I would say if he loses this, it do not look good for old Jimmy Crute. So the pressure is definitely on, but the man looks lighter than ever when it comes to this bout. He's switched religions, which is good. Find out which one. How's that for a hook? Find out which one. Also, guys, remember, check out my John and Mikhailov interview as well. He's also fighting on UFC 312 plus. Follow on YouTube and Instagram and all the socials because we've got a lot of UFC guys in the chamber for the interviews coming up real soon, February 9th, UFC 312. So we're going to hear from our friends at Vex, and on the other side, the man that is returning, the first ever guest on the Australian MMA podcast 2 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Crute.
PRP Global and Vex have joined forces, so keep an eye out. Launching mid-November, they've got a new Vex website and new MMA fightwear range releasing shortly. Vex, designed for combat and worn by the best in Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Actually, our first ever guest on Australian MMA ever. It's Jimmy Crute. Welcome, mate.
Hey, mate, how are you?
It's crazy. I always have a soft spot for you because you're first ever guest. You didn't even know, but to me, soft spot.
We go way back, bro.
Well, speaking of going way back, mate, we did not know what was going on way back. We thought Jimmy Crute has walked off into the sunset and he was never coming back again. Boom. Turned around. What happened? Were you just kind of in the lab and went, now I want to show everyone what's going on?
Yeah, it's sort of so many things have happened. It sort of feels like a blur. After my last fight, I had a lot to think about. And I didn't want to come back unless I could commit 100% and give what I used to. Turns out I can give what I used to and some. And I'm just enjoying training again, enjoying the whole process again. And I just thought, fuck it, like I'm too good at this not to give it another crack.
What was the what's the thing that does it? Like, did you go fishing? Were you doing yoga? Like, when was the moment when it all turned around again for you?
There wasn't a moment, man. It was just a slow build. I got back into. I had a bit of time off, and then I got back into the gym, just to sort of something I'll always do. I'll always be a martial artist. So even when I do retire, eventually in a long while, I'll still do this sport. But I was just back in the gym, and I was just like, I've still got it, and I've still and not only do I still have it, I've got more than I've ever had. So the time off just worked a treat. It really I healed from the inside out, and I just feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
What was the big issue? Were you just not having fun anymore, or were you not performing the way you thought you could?
Fucking plenty of issues, bro. Don't worry about that. No, it was a big mental a massive mental part, like the anxiety and the depression and all that shit. I'm not fucking gonna bore you with it all. Um, that's all been shed, but also too, like I had a lot of injuries, and I don't think I've been injury free fucking for at least 4 or 5 years. So to finally not have any injuries hold me back is also another massive thing as well.
Like, what sort of goes in the journey of sort of figuring all this out? Like, was it just you? Did you have sort of the right people around you? Did you have the right support network, or was it just you looking in the mirror and going, I gotta fix this"?
It was me looking in the mirror. Um, I pulled myself away from everyone. I sort of just thought I'm going to do what's right for me, and whoever is there on the other side of this is supposed to be in my life, and whoever's not is not supposed to be in my life. So I pulled myself away and come back to the ground zero.
The biggest issue I talk to a lot of guys is sometimes like this becomes so much of their life and there's sort of nothing else. Have you balanced your life a bit more, or are you still just all in?
I'm all in. Don't get me wrong. Oh, because you have to be. If you're not all in on this, then it's too dangerous of a sport. It's too high level. You're not going to get away with not being all in. That being said, I love my life whether I do this or not now. I used to think that my life was worthless without winning fights. Now I know my life is fucking awesome no matter what happens.
What have you been doing to sort of notice that your life is like? Are you doing more activities? Are you seeing more friends? Like, what are you doing?
Oh, mate, I've been not seeing anyone for the last 8 weeks. I've just been zeroed in camp. Outside of camp, yeah, I've been getting out, been reconnected with some old friends and stuff. But really, I've just been a bit more present in every moment, sort of seeing the bigger picture. I started reading the Word of God. I'm a Christian now. That's really helped a lot. But just understanding what's important in life too. There's more to life than punching on. It is a big part of my life, and it's something I really love doing. But there is a lot more to life.
Did you say you became a Christian during this period of time?
Yes.
What
Yes.
what spurred that on?
Can't really explain it. I just felt Jesus knocking at my door for a long while, and I was running away from him. And then when I finally let him in, he could do his magic.
Gee, and was there anyone around, like close friends, that were like, "Hey, man, you should check this out"? Or once again, did you just sort of stumble across it yourself?
I stumbled across it myself, but I was sort of going to war with it in my head. I sort of, I don't know how to word this properly because I sort of like challenged God. I was like, "Fuck you, man! Like, who do you think you are?" And then I got brutally humbled because that's what happens when you challenge God. And then I was sort of coming to it, and then I hooked up with my original jiu-jitsu coach, Stewie Molden, and he talked to me about it, and it just sort of happened.
I mean, you seem almost the calmer and like you're carrying less. Is it sort of freeing in a way to sort of it's like you've taken on more, like you said with Christianity, but you actually seem like you're carrying a lighter load.
Oh, mate, 100%. Like, I'm not anxious anymore. There's nothing like you can't hurt me with like I know what the truth is now, and it is what it is.
Are you gonna go full like Bryce Mitchell with the Bible in the cage, or are we?
Nah, nah, no, not that far. I have as much faith as Bryce Mitchell. Don't get me wrong, but we have different personalities, and he's entertaining us. Don't get me wrong.
Have you met any other friends or sort of role models throughout this Christianity journey?
Yeah, I've obviously met some people in the community. It's quite funny when you open your heart to it. You start just meeting people randomly that share the same faith, and it's weird how it works. You know, there's a lot of coincidences start happening. But for me, it's a very personal thing as well. I'm not going to be one of those guys that go out and scream and shout and look at me, I'm God's favorite. Fucking fuck that shit, man. I am still me, but I just have a bigger purpose now.
Has it impacted your life? I mean, like in the sense of do you not go out anymore? I mean, I'm not sure you would have done much before, but like, are you still drinking alcohol, like all that sort of stuff? Has it drastically changed in that way?
It's changed me a lot. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of personal stuff that I won't talk about, but it has changed me a lot from the inside out. Um, it's rearranged my priorities.
Do you still have enough anger in there to win fights?
Don't need anger to win fights, bro.
But surely you're like, I can't hurt him now.
Nah. May God have mercy on my opponent because I'm not going to.
That was terrifying. Oh. That's cool, man. Well, then has it affected your training at all? Do you attack training any differently?
I enjoy training a hell of a lot more now. So I do approach training differently. Even when I'm like fatigued and wrecked, I'll still rock up with the same mentality of enjoy, like to embrace my suffering in those hard sessions. Yeah, but I think that's a whole mindset shift. I don't feel like the same person I was for my last few fights.
Do you feel the love from Australia and your fans in a way of, you disappeared for a little while and all you did was pop up with a training photo and it went off and people were so excited to see you back. Did you sort of miss that at all?
Yes, I do. I appreciate the support and from the fans and the community. I can't explain how much I appreciate it, but I'm a very inwards person. I'm not in this for the spotlight, if that makes sense. But I do appreciate the support more than I can express.
Now, yeah, coming up against a guy on a massive win streak, you not so much. Does a situation like this, do you like these situations? Do you see kind of that the UFC kind of goes, oh God, they've put me up against a tough task here? Like, do you see the behind the scenes sort of stuff?
I think the fact that this is a replacement fight, can't think too much into it. I just look at the person in front of me. Honestly, I'm not getting into the what ifs or did they do this for that reason, man. I look at the opponent, the obstacle in front of me, and I've got to figure out how to beat him. Doesn't matter if he's on a win streak or he's on a losing streak or whatever, man. Everybody's dangerous in that octagon, and I've got to bring my get A game and find a way to beat him.
Has your style changed at all over this break?
Yes, yeah, I yes and no. Obviously, I've polished a lot up. I had some massive holes in my game. I still have holes in my game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a perfect fighter. I don't think anyone's like you can't be a perfect fighter. There's always something to improve on. But I'm a student of the game again. I feel like every session's an opportunity to learn and improve.
Do you like this position almost better to where you kind of have to bounce back, sort of prove everyone wrong, where before you had all this almost like pressure and hype? Do you feel the difference in the positions of where you are?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because I'm just looking at it from a different perspective now or the positions are different. It's still a fight. There's still pressure there. I still put pressure on myself. I still feel pressure. My back's a little bit against the wall in this fight. So there is still pressure, don't get me wrong. But as I said, man, I'm a winner in life already. I already feel like a winner. So that's the difference now. I don't have to go win this fight to prove my worth.
That's cool. And was that just this little journey? And can you put that into comparison of how you were previously? Like, did fights really affect your day-to-day life if you didn't win?
Bro, I thought if I lost, I thought if I wasn't UFC winner, that I was nothing. I thought that my whole worth was wrapped up in what I do because it's all I've ever really known, to be honest. So I come after this sport from a very young age. I set my hopes on this sport from a very young age. So I never really had a plan B. I never had anything else that I wanted to do. So to me, it was everything. it still is. It still is it still takes up a big portion of who I am and what I do, but it's not everything.
Do you still do you have any interest outside of fighting? Like, are you looking at other, I don't know, businesses or any other sort of aspect of kind of the next stage of life at all?
Nah, I've got a long career ahead of me.
Good. I love it, mate. Wait, look, before I let you go, I've asked you this the first time, and I feel like we might get a different answer. But after it's all said and done, how does Jimmy Crute want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
People can remember me however they choose to remember me.
I love it, mate. You're an absolute champion. Is great to see you back. We're all stoked for you. I look forward to seeing you in Sydney, and we can talk about this great peaceful life and wins.
Awesome, mate. I appreciate it. Legend.
Peace out, brother.